organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on this Friday edition of Daily Iowan TV, Global Moves, we'll take a look at several dance moves from around the world. And later, see how some are gearing up for St. Patrick's Day.
We tell you if the Hawks were able to take down Indiana again last night.
And a preview of one wrestler's hopeful journey to a national title.
Spring break is expected to be pretty chilly this week. We'll have more during weather.
All that and more coming up. Daily Iowan TV starts now. Good morning and thanks for tuning in to our live Friday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Ryan Scott. Former University of Iowa President Mary Sue Coleman returned to campus yesterday at the Pomerantz Center to speak at the Lincoln Project Forum. She was joined by President Bruce Harreld alongside 3 others with backgrounds in higher education. They discussed the recent state funding cuts with need-based students being a major concern. At the reception at Blank Honor Center, Coleman stressed the importance of students speaking up for their right to higher education.
I think it's important for students because your voices are very, very influential to speak out about why you need higher education, why you want higher education, and why it would be helpful for the state to support you as you gain that extra education because you're going to contribute back to the society.
The Lincoln Project will continue to feature recommendations that will be addressed by university officials. This includes diversifying funding streams and encouraging foundations to donate to mission-critical educational programs. Starting in fall 2018, the university will no longer offer legacy scholarships. Following the travel ban order and Mexican border wall construction by President Donald Trump, the Eastern Iowa Center for Worker Justice has seen a surge in demand for its services and from Sudanese and Latino families who have lots of questions surrounding the situation. In order to help with these questions and provide support for Johnson County immigrants, the center is seeking volunteers or immigration responders who would be responsible for translation, daycare services, transportation, including assisting the center during emergency scenarios that may occur. For families that need legal counsel while being detained, the center works with the University of Iowa Law Clinic and lawyers who specialize in immigration at the university and in Iowa City. Under a proposal approved by the Iowa House yesterday, cities and counties will be barred from implementing local minimum wage increases. The legislation prevents enactment of policies that are against the state law, including setting a minimum wage that exceeds the state level of $7.25 an hour. Johnson County is one of 4 Iowa counties that approved wage increases, including Polk, Lynn, and Wapello counties. Iowa counties with wage increases, in addition, will be preventing cities and counties setting their minimum wages. The bill will prohibit them from paid family leave, implementing a soda tax, or banning the use of plastic bags. The Campus Activities Board hosted an event Thursday night that encouraged people to participate in different cultures. Mackenzie Cooper has the story.
Thursday night, the Global Moves event was hosted at the Iowa Memorial Union, showcasing the different styles and cultures of dance. I could tell you more, but instead, I'm going to show you. 2 University of Iowa student organizations, the Iowa Swing Club and the Iowa Ondi Club, taught routines that reflected their styles of dance. The Iowa Swing Club taught the Charleston, while the Iowa Ondi Club taught a traditional Indian dance. They both hope that this can introduce the student body to different cultures they may not have originally been introduced to.
We really hope to be able to teach about South Asian culture, about South Asian styles of dance.
The Campus Activities Board hosted this event with the hopes of not only introducing students to different cultures, but doing so in a different way.
The purpose of this event is to have students be exposed to different cultures, specifically when it comes to their dances. and instead of watching like a YouTube video about a performance, they can instead like actually participate in the dance.
This was the first time the Global Moves event was hosted, and students were really excited to attend. Some students also expressed how challenging these moves really were.
This Asian fusion is like a lot of work, and I can already tell that my thighs are going to be really sore tomorrow.
The Campus Activities Board hopes to continue this event in the future. They also hope to encourage students to get involved and participate in other cultures. Reporting from the Iowa Memorial Union, this is Mackenzie Cooper, Daily Iowan TV.
I'm joined here at the desk by our weather expert, Kenzie Cooper, who has more, hopefully good news for us when it comes to weather. Kenzie, will it get warmer or is it going to stay cold?
Unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of coldness coming up this week. And even though spring break is next week here at the University of Iowa, the weather will not be feeling like it. The high this morning is 25, but the sun will be shining. The clouds will be coming in this afternoon with a high expected of 32. The clouds will stick around into the evening hours with a high expected of 29. Tomorrow morning will remain cloudy with a high of 25. Now let's take a look at our 6-day extended forecast. A high of 32 is expected for Saturday afternoon with cloudy skies. Partly cloudy skies are expected in the evening hours with a high of 32. The skies will remain cloudy on Sunday with a high in the upper 30s. Winter will be returning on Monday with snow expected in a high in the mid-30s. After a snowy Monday, the sun will be shining on Tuesday, but will be a bit colder with the high reaching the upper 20s. Wednesday's high is expected to reach the upper 30s with partly cloudy skies. It will finally start to warm up on Thursday with a high reaching the low 50s. That's the weather for this week. Thanks, Ryan. Back to you.
Thanks, Kenzie. As the current University of Iowa Student Government Administration comes to an end, Rachel Zuckerman, the UISG president, and her administration want to leave the university and student government with the first ever UI Student Government Strategic Plan. The plan represents a comprehensive discussion of the problems that are currently affecting the student government. In an interview with Daily Iowan reporter Charles Peckman, Zuckerman said the UISG strategic plan was inspired by the UI's formation of the strategic plan. Zuckerman added that in order for a successful implementation of the plan, a more efficient transition between administrations and a more efficient Senate orientation would need to be made. The plan is expected to be completed by the end of the year. A legislation establishing the use of electric poll books and a voter ID system with significant verification, absentee ballot verification, and post-election audits is gaining support from a majority of Iowans. However, some organizations, such as the UI Student Government, are worried about the new form of voter identification. UISG President Rachel Zuckerman said that upgrades to technology could be made, but not at the expense of college students, minorities, and others. She's encouraging the Office of the Iowa Secretary of State to come up with a middle ground. Well, we are just 1 week away from St. Patrick's Day. While most are getting ready to relax and celebrate the holiday, one group is getting ready for their busiest week of the year. Mary-Kate Harrion has more.
In 2012, Iowa City gained their first Irish dance school, led by the only certified teacher in the state of Iowa, Treya Champagne. Champagne has been dancing for almost all of her life and is now using her talents to teach aspiring dancers from all over the state of Iowa.
We have dancers from Dubuque area, from Ames area, from Burlington, from Quad Cities, from Cedar Rapids, and especially people who know what it means to work with a teacher who's certified. A lot of them commute.
Irish Dance's busiest time of the year is always during the month of March, and the Champaign School of Irish Dance is more than ready to perform all across the state of Iowa.
We usually start in February as far as performances, and we did one last night. We'll do several this weekend, and then a few next week, but mainly next week is going to be, because St. Patrick's Day is on Friday, so we'll do Friday and Saturday.
St. Patrick's Day season is always awesome. All week, we have so many performances. We have performances almost every day, and normally we have some on the weekend after St. Patrick's Day.
Not only are these dancers ready for St. Patrick's Day, but they're getting me ready to go home and celebrate the right way. Reporting with the Champaign School of Irish Dance, this has been Mary-Kate Harrion for Daily Iowan TV.
Last night, Iowa faced off against Indiana. Let's toss it over to Katie and Lucy staying by in the sports studio with more.
That's right, Ryan. Last night, the men's basketball team had high hopes of making it pretty far in the Big Ten tournament, but Indiana clearly wanted it more, beating the Hawks 95-73.
That's right, but when the game started, it seemed that the Hawks were ready for a tough game, trailing by only 3 at the half.
Yeah, I definitely expected a good game for the second half, especially after 5 threes from Jordan Bohannon, but it got out of hand quickly.
Yes, Iowa's defense could not keep up with Indiana or stop James Blackman Jr., who finished the night with 23 points.
Now, a couple of factors in this loss. Nicholas Baer only shot the ball 4 times and finished with 3 points, and then Peter Jock just seemed to struggle early on and then almost give up as he ended with only 9 points. Now, Jordan Bohannon, on the other hand, had 24 points and 10 assists, along with Cordell Pemsel, who racked up 14 points and 11 rebounds.
Yeah, with this loss, it's looking hard for the Hawks to make it in the NCAA tournament, so hopefully they'll get an NIT bid.
Yes, and hopefully we will learn that this weekend. Well, now, last week, the women's gymnastics team came out on top against the Cyclones during this year's senior meet, where one senior took the opportunity to make her mark. Liv Corbett has more.
It was another incredible performance by senior Molly Drenth, who led the Gym Hawks to a victory over in-state rivals Iowa State. Drenth placed in every event and completed her last regular season meet with an all-around title.
Coming into this, it's a big meet alone because it's against Iowa State. That's a big rivalry, and having it be senior night too made it a little more emotional, but we really weren't focused on senior night because we're not done yet.
We went without Molly for a full week, and Molly's only had 3 days of training, so a lot of question marks here tonight, and Iowa State's a great team. This rivalry brings out the best in both teams every single time.
Whether it was senior day or the big rivalry, Drenth found a way to come out on top, leading the pack with a first-place title on vault and beam. Molly also tied her season best all-around score of a 39.35. Although a huge meet for Drenth, she stays focused on team goals for the rest of the season.
To continue performing on a national level, and because we want to be at nationals and we want to keep the same team concept and just staying together and having fun.
There's really no better way to come into the senior meet than to leave as a champion. And for Molly Drenth, this win was just the cherry on top. Although the season is coming to an end, the Hawkeyes will host the Big Five meet this Saturday at 3 p.m. Reporting for Iowa's Gymnastics, this has been Olivia Corbett with Daily Iowan TV Sports.
After this week of preparation, Drenth and the rest of the Gym Hawks are ready to continue this winning season tomorrow back at home for their last regular season meet.
For one senior Hawkeye wrestler, last weekend's Big Ten tournament was an opportunity to do something a Hawkeye wrestler has not done in 5 years. Colin Murphy has more.
A senior from Oak Park, Illinois, Sammy Brooks lived up to expectations and finished the regular season with a 24-2 record. With the postseason looming for last year's Big Ten champion at 184 pounds, there was a chance for Brooks to do something special at the Big Ten Championships in Bloomington, Indiana. The number 2 seed at 184 pounds, Brooks had the potential to win back-to-back Big Ten titles. Heading into the championship round on Sunday, Brooks did not disappoint. There was no question that Brooks was ready to take full advantage of the possibility of winning back-to-back championships. Matched up with former NCAA champion Miles Martin of Ohio State, Brooks absolutely dominated the match to claim his second Big Ten title by a score of 11-2.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want. You know, it's like every other match, even though it's on a bigger stage, but you never go out there to win a one-point match. And it happens because everybody's really tough, but when there's an opportunity to put a bunch of points on the board, you do it.
That's what I liked about Brooks. He's up 6-1 and keeps building his lead, and that's what you got to do to win championships.
For me, though, it's I got to think about the process, and I'll look back at the medals eventually, but I think if I'm focusing on the process and the everyday, then the other stuff will work out, and I'll have a, happy-go-lucky feeling when I'm done.
Now a 2-time Big Ten champion, Brooks still believes there is room to improve heading into the national championships. Reporting from Carver Hawkeye Arena, this has been Colin Murphy, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Brooks and the wrestling team, along with the track and field team, will head to the NCAAs this weekend and next week, so tune in after spring break for updates from that. Ryan, back to you.
Thanks, ladies. That's it for this edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to stay up to date with everything Johnson County by watching our live broadcast or by picking up a copy of the Daily Iowan. From all of us here at Daily Iowa TV, have a great spring break and see us back here next after that.